Amazon tried to scam me out of $490.73. And then when I came after them for it, they suspended my account and denied me access to all of my Kindle books, all of my Audible books, all of my video content, everything. I am absolutely livid. So now American Express and I are fighting Amazon. Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, I got to tell you a story. Now, I've been debating whether or not to tell this story because I feel, so it is 100% true, but I feel like it sounds a little far-fetched, but well, let me get into it and you'll see. So, and I know you already know from my thumbnail what I'm going to talk about. So I'm just going to jump straight in because I'm going to try to keep this short. Like for real, keep it short. Not like say I'm going to keep it short and then tell 100 side stories. I'm really going to keep this short. So back on November 2nd, it was a Sunday. I had taught classes in the morning, was going to get on the bike, and my watch alerted me that I had a charge on my Amazon. I was like, or on my American Express. I was like, well, all right, well, let me see. Because, you know, when you order something on Amazon, sometimes it takes a couple days. Like once they ship it, they charge you for it. So I was like, I wonder what that was. I wonder what just shipped. So I look and there's a $490.73 pending charge on my American Express from Amazon. And I was like, what? I don't spend that kind of money, y'all. Like, I mean, every once in a while I'll make a big purchase, but when I do, I remember it. Like I know when I spend, I don't drop that kind of money all the time. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't drop that kind of money all the time. So I was headed out to get on the Peloton. So I was going to be, I sat over here so the felons could sit with us, and now they're not gonna, Bo's not gonna sit with us anyway. So I had an hour, I knew I was gonna have an hour and 25 minutes that I could mess with this. So I looked through my Amazon to see like what they had charged me for, and there was nothing. Like I went back days and days and days and days and days, and there was nothing on my Amazon that would have been $490.73. So I got on the chat with customer service, and for the hour and 20 minutes that I was on the bike, I would get into a conversation with somebody in the chat, and it's like I would explain what was going on, and I would say, you know, there's no charge, there's nothing on my account. I didn't order anything. I don't know what this is. And it was pending on American Express. So when something is pending, like there's nothing you can do with it on Amex yet. So I couldn't challenge it on Amex. I couldn't do anything. Like the only thing I could do was deal with it with Amazon at this point. So they literally transferred me. So I would like get to like, you know, explain what it was. And then the person I was talking to would transfer me to somebody else. Go through the whole thing. They transfer me to somebody else. So as this is happening, I'm getting like increasingly more like elevated in my mood. So after the fifth person, or I guess at the fifth person, they're like, you need to talk to somebody. Like, do you want me to have somebody call you, or do you want to call somebody? Here's the number. And no. They said, put in your number and we can either have somebody call you or you can call. And I'm like, son of a beaver. So I was like, fine, I'll just call. So, and at this point I'm done on the bike. So I come in, eat breakfast, get upstairs on my computer so that I have everything in front of me for, you know, whatever they're going to try to tell me, I can see on my computer. So I call, and now I'm on to my sixth person. So I call and they're like, yeah, can we help you? Whatever. And the woman was heavily accented, which whatever, like it is what it is, but it just made her difficult to understand. And I'm already in a mood because I've been doing this, and I know exactly I was doing it for an hour and 25 minutes because it was from the minute I started pedaling the Peloton all the way through my entire ride, an hour and 25 minutes. So, and we've gotten nowhere. Like nobody can tell me anything. So I get this woman on the phone and she says, you know, tick, 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 tick. I said, I haven't ordered, and I hadn't ordered anything. I don't think I'd ordered anything for a couple of days. So she says, oh, this is for the Jade Kindle Scribe that you ordered. And I was like, well, that's intriguing. I didn't order a Jade Kindle Scribe. And she said, you didn't? I said, no. I mean, I ordered it a year ago when it came out. And so she says, well, I can see the order here. It's shipped. And at this point, I'm livid. Like, I'm so mad. I'm like seeing red. So, and again, I know that it's not her fault, but like I've been dealing with this for a while. So she says, yeah, I said, well, can you give me a shipping number? I said, because the instant that, and I used expletives, gets to my house, I'm going to turn around and ship it back to you and get my money back. So can you give me a shipping number? So she gives me a shipping number. I write it down. And of course, I'm like typing it in to, search to see where this thing is. And the shipping number comes up invalid. And I said, well, I'm getting, invalid on the shipping number. Can you tell me when to expect this thing? Remember, I think I told you this was November 2nd. This happened. She said, yeah, it'll be, it's expected December 7th. I said, I'm sorry, what? I said, December 7th. She said, yeah. I said, so in a month. She said, yeah. I said, no. I said, so you, and I think I used more expletives, are planning to keep my $490.73 for a month until this thing gets to my house and then I can send it back to you. Yes, ma'am. And that sounds okay to you? Yes, ma'am. And I was like, are you... And I think I said, are you effing high? Which I shouldn't have said, but y'all, I was mad at this point. And again, I know it wasn't that woman's fault, but now there are emotions involved. And it is almost $500 right before Christmas. And I think what made me the most angry, no, a lot of things made me angry, but like I was like, can you like run what you're saying past some kind of like brain sensor that you have and realize that what you're saying makes no freaking sense. And let me tell you what else makes no sense. I'm getting mad right now. Let me tell you what else makes no sense. That tablet has been out for over a year. So why the F would it take? I should have like caveated this in the beginning. This might have some weird edits to it because if I get off on like a rabbit trail, I'm going to cut that out. And if I use workout words, I'm going to cut those out too. I've just upset my dog. He's actually getting further. He's deaf and he's upset by the things I'm saying. But yeah, if I end up dropping workout words, I apologize ahead of time. I'm going to edit them out. So if there's weird edits, it's because I've stepped outside my Christian character and dropped some naughties. So I apologize ahead of time. So anyway, what was I saying? So, I mean, I was mad about the whole thing, but I was really angry that this woman is just like giving me these rote answers without thinking. Like, you silly jackal, why would it take a month for that thing to get to my house? It's been out for a year. So she says, I said, send me to somebody else. Like, escalate this now. So, and like I can tell that as she's talking, like her voice is getting smaller, and I know that I'm yelling at the wrong person, but again, she's not even trying to help me. So that's wrong of me. I should not have yelled at her. But anyway, so I get to her advisor or her supervisor, who is sounded like a native English speaker. So that helped because this woman had a very heavy, like subcontinent Indian accent, and it was hard to understand her. So I had to have her repeat stuff a bunch of times. And the stuff she was saying was just horse crap. So it didn't make any sense. And it was really not very good English. And y'all, I teach English to Chinese kids very early in the morning, every single day of the week. So I'm used to dealing with people with like varying degrees of accents. And I had no idea half of what this woman was saying. So anyway, let me calm down, because we ain't even gotten into it yet. So I get this woman and she says, all right, let me dig into this, see what I can find. So she goes back through and she says, well, it looks like you ordered a Kindle Scribe on like October 24th or something. I said, yeah, I did, of last year. And it came December 7th, which I can see that, right? Because I finally just searched in my Gmail for the $490.73 and found that transaction. So it's got something to do with that. So I said, yeah, last year when it came out, and it did take a month to get here because it was brand new and they were shipping late. So she says, well, what I'm seeing here, Danielle, and the condescending tone in her voice sent me straight over the edge. But she said, what I'm seeing here is that and I don't know what term she used, but there's some term when they bill for an item that it's been paid or something. And she said, I'm not seeing that, I don't know, we'll call it activated, which that's not right, but we'll say this order was activated. She says, I don't see that happened. I said, what does that mean? She says, that means that you weren't billed for it. I said, why would that be? She said, well, I don't know. But so what has happened is they went ahead and made a shipping order for it today, like early that morning. And I said, so stop talk. So she said, so no, hang on. So So she said, so what I need you to do, I'm sorry, what? So she tells me what she needs me to do, like I work for her, like I'm the customer service rep in this conversation. That's strike number 2. What I need you to do is to go back through your American Express bill, go back to October and see if you can find the transaction number where this was billed to you. I said, you want what? I said, no, hang on. So what you're telling me is that somebody somewhere in your company decided that they were going to make a fraudulent order up today and charge me for it on my American Express card, take $490.73 of my money and put in a fake shipping number like they just sent it, and you're acting like that's okay. Well, what I'm telling you, ma'am, I said, no, I'm asking you, is that what happened? I said, you know that's fraud, right? And like I'm escalating. I said, you know that's fraud, right? Like that is a fraudulent. She said, well, what I'm telling you is you were not billed for this. I said, but that's not what happened. Like nobody reached out to me and said this wasn't billed and here's what we need to do. What happened was y'all made up this fake transaction, billed me for a fake transaction. That's fraud. I said, so here's what's going to happen now. I'm going to get off the phone with you. I'm going to call American Express, let them know what you've done, and they're going to deal with you now. So is there anyone, when I call American Express, is there anyone at Amazon that I need to have them reach out to deal with this? And she said, no, ma'am. I said, okay, thank you. Have a nice day. Click. So now mind you, it's still a pending charge on American Express. So I had to wait. And in hindsight, what I should have done then is called American Express and told them it was fraud. I handled it all wrong. So I waited for the charge to hit my Amex and went in and just put it in. Like you can go in to American Express and put in like if you don't recognize a charge. I did that. So they dealt with it with Amazon. Amazon sent them documentation saying that I ordered it on November 2nd, 2025, gave them that fake shipping number. So then American Express looked at it and they're like, oh, well, you ordered this, you got to pay for it. So finally I called Amex and I was like, look, I'm about to cancel my American Express card, and I've been with Amex for 20 years. I said, I know that y'all don't care. Like, I realize that I'm a small time customer. Y'all don't, you don't make much money off me. You don't care, but I'm going to tell you, I've been with you for 20 years. So I'm going to give this one more shot. So, and I was talking to this really nice lady and I was like, I'm sorry that I'm escalated with you. I said, but I'm livid over this. So I explained to her what happened. She said, well, ma'am, that's fraud. I said, yeah. She said, well, that's not how this has been dealt with. It's been dealt with as though they just sent you the wrong item. She said, no, this is fraud. Let me get you to the right department. So she gets me to the fraud department. They're like, oh yeah, this is fraud. So they said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to shut down your card right now, which kind of blows. But they're like, we're going to shut down your card right now. So nothing else will charge on it from Amazon, blah, 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 whatever. They said, and we're going to deal with this through Amazon as fraud. So that was today is Tuesday. I think that was last Sunday. So then Monday I get up, teaching my classes, whatever. Then I just happened to check my email and I saw that I had an email from Amazon that said, we heard from American Express. They said that there was fraud on your account, that you're challenging the charge from this transaction. And they showed the transaction from November of a year ago. And they said, because of this, we've suspended your account. No more transactions. Nothing can happen on your account until this is sorted out. So there was a little box at the bottom that said, do you challenge this, or like, do you claim that this transaction was fraudulent? So I replied and I said, no, this wasn't fraudulent. What was fraudulent was that your company made up a transaction, charged it to my account on November 2nd, 2025. That is fraud, and that's what I'm challenging. Well, in the meantime, I tried to get on my account, could not get on my account, which means I couldn't get to tried to get on my Kindles wouldn't work, couldn't get, which is why I'm here, which is why I'm telling y'all this whole entire story. And this is why I vacillated telling this story up until this happened. This is what made me decide to tell this story. Because I know when you hear this story, you're like, that sounds like bull. Like, Amazon wouldn't do that. There's no way that happened. Y'all, my right hand to Jesus, that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. But like, you can believe me or not, I don't care. But here's what I'm warning you of. When I got up that morning, my Amazon account had been disabled. Now, I have a second account, which is my affiliate account. It's linked to that other account, so I don't know if that one would have been disabled at some point or not, but they also said in the letter that they were going to try to make that charge to any other payment method that I had on my Amazon account. So American Express shut down my American Express card, which was the only payment method I had on my Amazon account. So they couldn't try to hit me with that charge on another credit card, but they would have. So they shut down my account. Again, couldn't get to my Kindle, couldn't get to my Audible, couldn't get to any of my, which I don't do much like movies on Amazon or anything. I couldn't get to any of that. And y'all, sorry if you heard this story over on my food and fitness channel, but I felt I needed to tell it over here too because of the Audible and Kindle tie-in. I had returns that I needed to do. And now, you know, you have to go like to Kohl's and they scan the returns on your phone, or like they scan the QR code. I couldn't get to my account. So I wouldn't have been able to do my returns, which I didn't even think about. But once they saw that I had replied with that note that they had pulled the fraud, they reactivated my account. And fortunately, most of my Kindle books I've downloaded and they're air gapped from Amazon, so they couldn't get to those. And I only had, I think maybe I had 3 Audible books that I mean, I have a bunch of Audible books that I haven't downloaded, but I had like 3 that I needed to still listen to or that I wanted to listen to again. So I quick downloaded those in case they decide to deactivate my account again. So I have all of my digital media that, like, not all of it, but all the stuff that I really care about, I have downloaded elsewhere. But y'all, here is, and I want to say this. If you've made it this far, this has nothing to do, like them having disabled my, did I say I said they reinstated my account or unsuspended it or whatever. This has nothing to do with me downloading and DRMing books. This has nothing to do with any of that. So anybody that saw my thumbnail and they're like, they finally got you. No, they don't care. They don't care that I DRM books. They tried to steal money from me and American Express is going after them. So they tried to shut down my account. Here is the point of all of this. And somebody, y'all, one of my viewers a while ago, when we were DRMing books, said that, yeah, Amazon can shut down your account and you will lose access to everything. And I just blew off the comment. Viewer, whomever you were, please claim it in the chat. I was wrong. And I didn't say anything, like I didn't argue with this person, but I just ignored their comment because I was thinking that would never happen. It can't, I'm not saying it will happen to you. It can happen, and not over something like DRMing books either. Y'all, I didn't do anything wrong. I said this on my other video. I've said this to American Express. If I do owe them $490.73 for that Kindle that I bought a year and a half ago, and they can prove to American Express beyond a shadow of a doubt that I didn't pay for it with my American Express, I didn't pay for it with gift cards, it wasn't like a return that got, like I returned one and they sent me another one. If they can prove that that didn't happen, I will pay them the $490.73. But don't come damn steal my money. Especially, well, it doesn't even matter that it's right before Christmas, but that's the other thing that fired me up was I am blessed that like when they did that, it wasn't on my debit card, right? So it didn't take cash out of my account. But imagine if I was somebody who Amazon had access to my checking account and that it was November 2nd. So think about if you're going to pay your rent on November 5th and Amazon hits your debit card is on your Amazon, right? And Amazon hits that debit card for $490.73 that you didn't expect them to take from you, and you're going to pay your rent and you're like, hey, wow, where's that almost $500 that should be in my account that I need to go and give to my landlord so that I can cover my rent, and now it's gone and I have to fight with the bank or with Amex to get it back. Like just the myriad issues that could have caused, and they could not have cared any less. And then I was faced with the challenge of proving a negative. Like, I had to prove that thing didn't come to my house. And y'all, I know I'm getting down rabbit holes, and I said I was going to keep this short, but the shipping number it probably wasn't fake. It was probably the shipping number from back when they actually shipped the thing last year. But when you put in the shipping number, it comes up as invalid. So it doesn't give you a date. So I couldn't even say, okay, well, on this date, pull up our cameras and show that on this date, what did or didn't come to my house. Or like, I reached out to, it was USPS, which Amazon doesn't even send much of anything USPS anymore, and especially not a $500 tablet. But anyway, reached out to the post office, and they're like, are you kidding? No, we can't. I mean, they were nice, but they're like, are you smoking crack? No, we can't give you a list of all of the packages that go to a specific address, even if the intern and I both signed something saying, yes, please provide this information. They're like, no, we can't do that. That is such a security risk. Of course we can't do that. So I was left with the challenge of proving a negative, which you can't prove a negative. So anyway, here is why I'm telling you this whole rambling story is that, and I know folks are going to be in the chat being like, well, that's there. When you buy a Kindle book, it says you're buying a license to it, blah, blah. It doesn't say that Amazon might come and steal $500 of your money, and that when you come to fight for your money back, that they're going to shut you down and they're going to take away the access to that license because of something that they did. They don't say that. So they can they can go away with, you know what, anybody that wants to come at me about DRMing anything or downloading Audible books, just scroll on by, because I don't want to hear it anymore, because they can come after you. They can take away your access to all of that stuff, and you don't even have to do anything wrong for them to do that. So here's why I'm telling you this. I will put links in the chat to my videos about DRMing. And we haven't talked much at all about downloading Audible books, but you can download your Audible books. And then there's this fabulous little website that you can use to, it's been so long since I did it, I don't even remember the specifics of it, but it is super slick. And you can turn them into, I'll put it here because I'm going to say this wrong, but like MP3s or something, so that you can listen to them outside of Audible. You can listen to them in just other players on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, on your wherever. So I will put those videos, links to those videos here. And I've completely, so older Kindle books, we can DRM. It's my understanding that the newer Kindle books, even if your Kindle hasn't updated, so you can still drag them into Calibre to DRM them, it's my understanding that the newer Kindle books, you can't DRM them no matter what. I've stopped buying Kindle books altogether. I buy my books from Kobo because they let you download them, and then you can do what you want with them. So y'all, it is almost Christmas. I do not have time to go through all this again right now, but I promise after the new year, once things settle down, we'll do a video talking through all of that stuff. And if that's not your bag, that's fine. Move on, go find somebody else to play with. But we should have a way to store our books under fair use. Now, don't give them to anybody else. Don't loan them to anybody else. Don't let anybody else use, borrow, see your books. But for your own private use, fair use in the United States allows us to store our digital media for our own use. So the point of all of this is Amazon can shut down your account, and it will deny you access to all of your Kindle books, all of your Audible books, and I'm sure like everything. So my recommendation is to have backups of everything. And we'll talk about that after the new year. And y'all, don't be a Danielle. Don't let your returns pile up. Because I was about to eat about $120 of returns if they hadn't reactivated my account. So that's it. That's all I got. That's my whole sob story. I will definitely keep y'all up to date. I'll let you know what goes on with my case. If American Express decides that I do in fact owe them that money, if Amazon admits that it was a purchase that I made a year ago that they messed up, I will let y'all know all of that. But in the meantime, I want to hear if anybody else has had any kind of similar issues with Amazon. Please let us know in the chat. Have you or anybody that, now not like your sister's, brother's, cousin's, boyfriend, heard that somebody at their job had this happen? If it's happened to you or you know somebody specifically that this has happened to, that Amazon has suspended their account and denied them access, let us know the story in the comments. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos over on Fit Danielle Eats the beginning of every week, with some book videos over here sprinkled in between. And I do a daily devotional over on Fit Danielle Prays every morning. So if I don't see you on one of those, I'll catch you on the next one.